What transforms a certain disaster into a moment remembered as a miracle? Is it mere chance, destiny? Or could it be something far more concrete? Something shaped by relentless training? An unshakable sense of duty? And an indomitable will to survive? Welcome to Air Crash Decoded, where we don't just narrate aviation tragedies. We uncover the extraordinary human decisions and resilience that emerge under the most crushing pressure imaginable. Here we break down the split-second choices, the engineering feats, and the fragile chain of events that decide the line between catastrophe and survival. Today we revisit one of the most extraordinary events in aviation history, a story that went against every odd, not in the safety of open countryside, but in the heart of one of the busiest cities in the world. This is the account of 5 defining minutes that altered countless lives. This is the decoding of the miracle on the Hudson. Chapter 1. A normal takeoff on a perfect afternoon. It was January 15, 2009, a crisp, crystal clear afternoon, the kind pilots dream about, at New York's LaGuardia Airport. U.S. Airways Flight 1549, an Airbus A320, was set for a routine trip to Charlotte, North Carolina. At the controls sat Captain Chesley Sullenberger, a 57-year-old former fighter, pilot with 4 decades of flying experience and a lifelong passion for safety. Beside him, First Officer Jeffrey Skiles, 49, also highly experienced, was embarking on his very first trip on the A320 after certification. The passengers boarding through Gate C-17 represented everyday life, businessmen, families, couples heading home. They took their seats, fastened belts, and waited for pushback. Nothing suggested the ordeal ahead. At 3:24:56 p.m., clearance was given for takeoff from Runway 4, the twin CFM56. Engines roared, pushing the aircraft smoothly into the bright blue sky over Queens. For 95 seconds, everything was routine. Chapter 2. A collision with the unthinkable. At just 2,018 feet, barely, a minute and a half into the climb over the Bronx, the unimaginable struck. Thump, thump. Not an explosion, but a sickening, dull thud reverberated through the fuselage. Both pilots snapped their attention to the instruments. Sully would later describe it as a sensation of flying through a thunderstorm. An acrid, burnt smell began to fill the cabin. The jet had slammed into a flock of Canada geese. Each bird, weighing up to 12 pounds, was like a cannonball at such speed. Both engines swallowed multiple geese. The fan blades, built for air, shattered on impact. Flames, then silence. The engines went dead. All that remained was the whistle of air over metal and relentless cockpit alarms. A chilling voice repeated the words no pilot ever wishes to hear. Engine failure, engine failure. Chapter 3, a glider over New York. The situation was critical. A 150-ton aircraft had instantly become a powerless glider, still low over one of the world's most densely populated cities. This was where discipline and cockpit resource management, CRM, mattered most. Sully's voice was calm yet decisive. My aircraft. Skiles responded instantly. Your aircraft. Control was clear. Sullenberger lowered the nose to preserve vital airspeed. Skiles opened the quick reference handbook and began the drill for dual engine failure. Engine start lever, crank. Ignition, on. Step by step they tried to revive the engines. Nothing worked. The damage was fatal. Chapter 4. A river becomes the only runway. They had no chance of returning to LaGuardia. Altitude was insufficient. Attempting it meant crashing into the city. Air traffic controller Patrick Harton watched his radar screen as Flight 1549 stopped climbing. Moments later, he heard Sully's chilling words. Cactus 1539. We've hit birds. Lost thrust on both engines. Returning to LaGuardia. Harton immediately offered every available runway, but Sully, scanning his surroundings, replied, unable. We may end up in the Hudson. It sounded unthinkable, almost surreal, but Sully's mind had already processed it. LaGuardia was impossible. Taterboro too risky. The Hudson River, vast and straight, was the only chance. Chapter 5. The ditching of a lifetime. Sully had one attempt. Too fast and the jet would disintegrate. Too slow and it would stall and crash. He carefully traded altitude for speed, adjusting to line up perfectly with the river. Inside, fear gripped the cabin. Flight attendants Sheila Dale, Doreen Welsh, and Donna Dent braced passengers with drilled commands. Brace! Brace, heads down. Stay down! The jet descended, river filling the windows. Sully flared slightly, aiming for a controlled impact. At 125 mph, the A320 slammed onto the Hudson. Water exploded skyward. Metal screeched. The jet jolted violently, but it stayed intact, skimming across the surface before settling afloat. Against all odds, the Airbus had survived. Chapter 6. The fight for survival. Now came the race against freezing water. It was January. The Hudson was just 41 degrees. The aircraft was leaking and slowly sinking. The crew launched evacuation immediately. Doors opened, slides deployed as life rafts, passengers stepped onto the wings. Fear gave way to cooperation. Strangers helping strangers in deadly cold air. New York responded instantly. Ferries, tugboats, police, and Coast Guard vessels rushed to the scene. In under 24 minutes, every one of the 155 people had been pulled from danger. Captain Sullenberger, calm to the very end, walked the cabin twice, ensuring all were out before stepping off as the last man. Chapter 7, Beyond Luck. The NTSB investigation confirmed it. Every move Sully and Skiles made was correct. Simulations showed any attempt to reach LaGuardia or Teterboro would have ended in disaster. This was not mere luck. It was a miracle born from preparation, a captain with decades of discipline, a first officer trained to perfection, flight attendants who embodied courage, an aircraft engineered to withstand extremes, and a city that rallied to rescue. No single hero, only a chain of heroes. The story of Flight 1549 is not just about avoiding tragedy. It's about resilience, composure, and teamwork. It proves that excellence drilled over years can save lives in seconds. The miracle on the Hudson was not a miracle of chance, it was a human miracle. One forged in training halls, simulators, and the unyielding pursuit of safety long before that winter day. If this story touched you, if it reminded you of the strength of the human spirit, please like this video so others may discover it, share it with someone who needs hope, and don't forget to subscribe to Air Crash Decoded. Here, we continue to break down aviation's most remarkable stories of survival and loss. This is Air Crash Decoded. Until next time, stay curious.